It was about doing stuff I shouldn't be doing, involving myself with people I shouldn't be involving myself with.
It all started at the age of 15 when I first got diagnosed. It was a scary procedure to go through, like...
Get out of school and you just set free. Like, we don't really tell you what to do with your life.
I think it took us away from crime because we had something. So that's what we was looking for, something to focus on. These jingles are sick, 0800 1066.
What was it? Get money for your old phone.
Oh, Wonga. Wonga, innit? Is it Wonga?
Nah.
Okay, so guys, you've been on the programme for 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
How have you found it so far?
It's been a good challenge to overcoming some barriers and finding out what our barriers are. And yeah, it's been a good challenge. It's been exciting.
My favourite word, it's lit. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, to help us grow as well, we built a relationship with each other as well. And like, we become a family, do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, like Malachi said, we've built a good relationship. We've got loads of motivation to do the best that we could. And we're just trying to make something bigger.
What did you expect on that, like, before you
To be honest, you know, like, I just kept my mind blank on it because, you know, sometimes like come to a place and you're actually trying to have an expectation about it. You always sometimes get disappointed, and sometimes I just want to keep my mind blank. And you know, already I'm actually impressed already because, you know, this is things like I've tried them before, but it's new. Like, you learn a lot more about it, and you know, like, been here what, 3 days, isn't it? And already I feel like I've been here for ages, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the thing that surprised you most about yourself since being on the programme?
That I can do it, like, can do it. Like Malachi says, you're always your biggest critique, innit? You can do it, like, you can. And I just want to say that these men here have been supported me more than my friends back at home, and these give me big support, like, it's for real.
So my name's Dan, I'm part of the team at Black Country Radio. I present weekends and also look after the social media and production and various other bits and bobs. I think one of the things that's really important about what we do as a station versus some of the projects that we've got involved with, like this one, it's about bringing the community in, showing them that media is an accessible platform, that media is something that can benefit them, that can develop them as individuals. And also, for us, it's about finding out about people as individuals. So the people that are coming in with these programs are individuals, and they've got stories, and they've got really interesting backgrounds, and they're intelligent and they're clever. And it's great to sort of smash some of the preconceptions that people might have, and to find out about them as humans. And yeah, we've spoken to some of the guys on this program and previous programs, and they've just been fascinating. They've been really interesting people to talk to, maybe misunderstood in some ways. And it's great to get to know them, great to get to work with them, and great to be able to introduce them to what we do and how media can help.
How are you feeling about your challenge that you've got to do today?
I am quite nervous, but at the same time I'm excited. I'm happy to do it, and I'm just going to try my best.
It's lit. That's what I say, it's lit, man. Nah, I'm joking. Like, the podcast, yeah, nerves do come in that. Obviously it's the first time and that, but at the same time, being around the people that I built a connection with, that I got a love for, so I'm confident.
It's comfortable talking to you, like, innit? Like, you sound like we're talking to strangers and that, like, you know what I mean? It's comfortable. And it's even more exciting that we're going live. And
I know, for real.
We got Black Country Radio.
Yeah, Black Country Radio as well. Big up, what's his name? Man like Gaza.
Yeah.
Put us on the radio station, man. Big up Gaza, man.
You're good to go.
Hello, my name's Arrowsmith, and this is my podcast about mental health. To begin with, I'm going to talk about my personal experience with mental health. It all started at the age of 15 when I first got diagnosed. It was a scary procedure to go through, like being handed all these medication, all these people being passed to me, and yeah, I went through the medication route. Was no change. Scrapped that. Went into hospital. It was alright, a bit, to be fair. Yeah. So I just want to talk about like your experiences and your stuff as like mental health. 50% starts at the age of 15. and then 75% progress at the age of 18. This is why I want to introduce my peers, as you're all in this age group, age category, so I'd like your opinion. So I'd like to introduce Kacper.
Hi, my name's Caroline Bryant. I'm a recovery coordinator and I worked for the Beacon in Walsall for 8 years. I think for April, she was a young person that didn't realise that her drug use was problematic, didn't realise that she was probably self-medicating because there was underlying mental health issues that had never been resolved and probably underlying traumas as well. And I think because the worker that she worked with was so perceptive and recognised that and quite quickly got April into mental health services, that April was able to speed that recovery on by addressing her mental health. She realised then that she didn't actually need the drugs.
To get by in life.
Would you say like it's easily recognised mental health?
No, it's not. Because you can have the one which is out there where, you know, disabled people, but then also mental health is like something from inside, you know what I mean?
It's not visible.
No, I think it comes from the heart.
So touching into I want to touch into like the male mental ill health sector, as like 76% of suicides are male, and like male are seen as like sources of strength and power. This is why I don't tend to speak up as much. Like, do you think male should speak up more, like, and why?
I reckon so, yeah. Like males, like we do tend to like think that we're like the bigger person now. We don't want to show our feelings. Like we don't want to look like the like weaker person. I mean, but I reckon like if you've got something on your mind, just speak up, man.
I think it's more the older young people that have this realisation that they're self-medicating, or that the drugs have got more control of them than they've got of the drugs. And I tend to find this with sort of 16 to 18, 19-year-olds. They start to realise that, one, they've got no money, there's always rows in the house, because they're always asking for money or they're stealing money. They've come out of school and realised that they haven't actually achieved a lot. And quite a lot of it is, I wish I'd never done it, but I didn't realise when I was 13 and started doing it that this is where it was going to end up. So I think that April's just typical of the older young people that we do see, because when young people start to get 16, 17, 18, they do start to realise a little bit that drugs are starting to cause them problems.
How many other people out there actually suffer with the same thing?
Yeah.
And if we like open up, we realise that we can get past it if we just work together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'd like to thank my peers for expressing their opinions.
Yeah, man.
That's my podcast.
Yeah. It's lit.
Yes.
Oh, getting so it happened by accident the first time. This is Penderford, and this is where I grew up, man. That was my first house where, you know, magic happened there, man. Imaginations, stories, family members, family time. Right now we're at the back of the shops where we used to kick ball. These curbs here, where we used to play Kirby, you know, just chill sometimes. Yeah, you can't really see what's going on behind you, but yeah, it was most of the times. Yeah, this area here now we're at the front of the shop, so the shops are just here to your left, and then behind me, as you can see, these three rocks here. These rocks here is where we used to just play, man, all day, all night, play on these rocks.
What did growing up here teach you?
It taught me, man, like survive. It's like survival skills, you get me? Because at the time, situations were going on at home, and didn't really want to be home. You know what I mean? Didn't want to chill at home around the energy, the vibes, man, just being upset. So just going out and then just chilling with your friends, and you know, first we start off here in the ends, and then we move our way further down, and just explore. And that's what we did. We just learned survival skills, man, how to survive.
Was playing outside and being with your friends, was that like escapism from home?
At first it was just more fun because everyone plays out with their friends, when they're young. And then after a while, when certain situations started to go on and I started to understood what was going on, it became an escape. So that back then that's when the escape happened. A lot of times I'll sleep over my friend's house because I didn't want to be at home, because home life was just annoying. It was a wreck. So just being out with friends, and being in their lives and seeing what their home lives were like, and comparing it to myself, and the comparison was different. Like they wasn't going through what I was going through. Do you know what I mean? So I like to be around them. I like to, just be there. I miss doing this shit, Hey, time to go to lesson and that. I remember that one.
What were you escaping from?
At the time, my mum was on drugs. She was on kind of hard drugs, man. Heroin and cocaine. And being in the household, I've seen her take the drugs, see what it did to her, the effects it had on her. And it was like, I didn't understand, innit? I was at a young age where I didn't understand, but it was scary. I remember it being scary, and I knew it wasn't something right she was doing because the way it made me feel. So just like not being there, and at the same time I was young, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything to stop her. She would just do it if she wanted to do it. So it's like being young, like being out with my friends and that at the same time, when we're laughing, we're joking, like I forget about all of that. It was like a drug, innit? It was like most people smoke weed to escape from reality, but that was my escape, just to chill and to, yeah, man.
Where was your dad at that time?
My dad, he used to live here with us, and then he left. Just couldn't take it no more. The drugs, the problems, everything. Couldn't take it. I think firstly he tried to take me with him, but I had an addiction to my mum. I couldn't help but be without my mum. You know what I mean? I couldn't know that she was almost on her deathbed, and I'm out here just living life great. Do you know what I mean? Somehow I made that my responsibility because of the love I got for her. So me being here, I had to stay here. My pops left. He went to work, went somewhere. I don't even know where he left. He went to, but yeah, though it's not a typical black man, like he went shop one day and he never came back. Donnie had contacts. He was always in contact, but at the time he wasn't there when I needed him, man. Do you know what I mean? And then from there, he got married. He had his wife and that. Got married and that. And then shit just got worse, bro. Just got real worse, man. Like, I was angry at the same time, do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking, how can you move on from my mum to another woman? Do you know what I mean? And how can you kiss another woman and it's not my mum? You know what I mean? It used to upset me, and that's why I acted out in certain ways. And then being around the area where I grew up, like if I'm angry, the man them are angry. Do you know what I mean? We feel each other's pain and that. And yeah, we just started going on bad from there.
Hello, my name's Denzel, and I'm an entrepreneur/artist. What I do, I own a record label called Hustler by Nature / Humble by Nature, and what we're really about is, positive vibes and good energy.
For me, it's like, I was raised by parents who were raised in a totally different culture. So like some of the things that they told me to expect for, it wasn't really there for me as much as it probably was for them in their circumstances, because they were born and raised in Zimbabwe. So see, that whole culture clash there, it's different. They haven't been raised in this culture that I'm growing up in right now. So they're not gonna recognize some of the things that I may be going through. They won't be able to relate simply just because like they've never experienced these things. So for me, it was just hard. Like, I'm the first one in my family experiencing these problems, so there's no one in my family that I could generally go to and be like, alright, cool, I'm facing this. Because when they were my age, they were back home there.
Right now, we're in Roger Street, Hall 3. This is my first house, that one right there, where I came through when I came from Zimbabwe. And I have a lot of mixed memories with this place. Like, I like it, but I don't at the same time.
Why?
Because, there's a lot of good memories at this house, mostly good memories, but I had my fair share of bad memories. This house burned down when I was 11, and me, my brother, my father, and my little sister were inside the house once it happened. So I just take it as a blessing that, you know, we came out of that house fire, no one was touched, you know, nothing major, but we did lose the house. But since then we came a long way though, but yeah, man. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble in that house still.
Growing up, I was very independent, so I wouldn't really go to my parents with a problem. I'd like to really like just solve it all by myself. That's like a large part of my independence. I was always just naturally like that. I wouldn't really, you know, where most kids would go to some problems would go to their parents. It was like, yo, I'm going to the man them, talk to the man them, see what I can get from them, talk to probably a couple of others, see what I get from them, and from there I just make my own decision. So it was like,
what I feel like as well with that parenthood there, it was more like strict parents make sneaky children, innit?
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's like they're giving us the teaching, what they got from their parents, not actually what they've experienced through life themselves. So whatever their parents teach them and however their parents taught them how to grow up, they're trying to install that behaviour into the child, but the child is from a different generation. Since as well, you're from a different generation. So you can't teach like what your parents taught you, you can't teach your child. You have to teach your own understanding, your own experience.
Was childhood happy for you?
Yeah, it was half and half, because I felt like my parents couldn't really understand me and the problems I was dealing with, because they were raised in a whole different place and country. So the things I was going through and facing, I was like, I couldn't really come back home and tell somebody. So it was like, I had to bottle it up and like find a different way of how to, like, you know, let go of certain things. I think I was 10 and my brother was 6. He got jumped at that park over there, right in front of me, and I couldn't do anything. It's like those type of moments there, like where I had to teach myself, like, alright, cool. I can't really go run to my parents because they're the type to phone the police, and then I already learned in the culture in here, you don't really talk to the police or them type of stuff. So I just had to find a way to, like, you know, deal with certain situations or by myself without really telling nobody. But that same thing made me independent and made me who I am, so yeah. Right now we're in Arena Park. This is the park that I spent most of my beginning years playing at. But the thing was, you know, we've seen a lot of things that we didn't know what it was at the age. We were just young, innit? So there would be a lot of drug dealers at this park, a lot of elders that didn't guide us in the right direction, you know. They'll make us do little jobs. At the time I didn't know what it was. All I knew was that the older boys wanted me to do something, and the older boys were cool to me at the time, innit? You know, they'll have their little chains or whatsoever. And to a certain degree I wanted to be like them, so did little jobs for them. They had no idea what it was. Like, mind you, I must have been about 8 or 9, and, you know, just came across loads of different things, especially here. There used to be a little bush area over there, and there was a lot of things hidden in there that, you know, me and my friends would find that we wouldn't really supposed to have. But at the time we didn't know what it was. They had no clue what it was. Like, it's only a couple years later until, like, when I was 15, I actually deeped the things that I'd done in this park, and, you know, the stuff that I've seen and held. I'm not really trying to get myself in trouble and say too much, but yeah, we did. There was some fucked up things here in this park, and you know what? I believe if I never, like, came out to this park and seen half of it, I wouldn't go on the way I went on, you know, when I was going on bad and stuff, cause most of it was from here. I was just doing it subconsciously. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was just doing it. Then it came to, like, when I got older, I was doing it consciously, though I knew what I was doing. But I must have been desensitized to it just because of this park. At that time in my life, all there really was my family, and then my neighbours who I would play with sometimes.
So was it anyone positive?
Nah, beside my family, nah, not really.
The purpose of the youth justice system is to work with young people between the ages of 10 and 18 to help them stop offending and re-offending. So in a nutshell, it's to stop young people getting into trouble with the police, stopping them going to court, stopping them getting a conviction, and improving their chances for the rest of their life.
Where do you believe the youth justice system succeeds and needs to be improved?
We do lots of things really well in Walsall. We have amazing projects, amazing programs. This is one of those amazing projects that we've got going on. So we work really hard to give young people an opportunity to do something different, because I know sitting in a classroom or sitting in a room doing a worksheet, it doesn't really work. It might work for some young people, but for most young people, it doesn't work. So you've got to give them opportunity to get out and do something completely different. I don't think we got it quite right around helping young people get into education, especially for 16 upwards. I don't think we got that quite right, but I recognise that there's loads and loads of challenges for young people in Walsall around getting the right schooling, getting good grades, staying in school. You know, we've got loads of exclusions locally, which we need to figure out. We need to figure out how we can work with schools to stop them excluding young people for behaviour.
So today I just want to talk about school and mental health, but the first thing I'm going to touch on is school. Like, has school had an impact on your life, and has it been positive or has it been a negative impact?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good things and bad things about school. Like, school does teach you the basic skills, maths, English, whatnot, how to write, how to speak, and whatnot, but it don't teach you enough. Like, you get out of school and you just set free. Like, they don't really tell you what to do with your life, and like, obviously, how to get a job, how to get an apprenticeship. You just get told to do it, and you don't get enough support, I don't reckon.
April, can I get your point on school as well?
Yeah, I just want to go back on what Kacper said. Like, they just learn you the basic skills like maths, English, science. Like, they don't really give you the life skills. Like, I can honestly have learnt more on the streets than I learnt in the classroom, like straight up. And having that label as like one of the naughty kids or the distractive kids, like that's just put on you, and it gives you self-doubt, man, and you question yourself, and it's just one of them things. Yeah, like, they don't.
Would you say school is set up for? From hearing what all of you have said, would you say school set you up for a 9-to-5 life?
I'd
What's your opinion?
say so, yeah. They set you to live on, like, you see a careers advisor, all they talk about is uni, college, apprenticeships, or sixth form. They still always talk about further education.
So it's never, you can do it yourself. You can
there's no one in school.
I'd say there's like a rare few, and that's only for those individuals who've been in those same situations and feel like that they need to help people to actually rekindle that imaginative side of them. You know what I'm saying?
I think education's a massive thing here in Walsall anyway. I think a lot of schools at the moment are really struggling to keep a significant number of young people on roll in school because of their behaviour being challenging, and I think we really need to rethink how we approach that at a school level to stop people being excluded, ending up in PRUs or ending up offending. Often is the kind of trajectory when you disengage from education.
So what would you say, like, for all three of you, has opened it to say, you know what, I don't need school? Because all of you sound like you've had experiences in school, the past, that, no matter if it's bad, good, whatever, but you've came to a stage of your life where you've said, all right, cool, I may not have had that education in school, but I still can progress in life. What point did you realise you can do that?
For me, like, after I've done like major bad things throughout school and when I left, and you realise that the teachers there and all the people there, they're not family, you know, like they don't dictate what you do with your life. I mean, it's never impossible to try something new, to, you know, experience what you really want to do, like to open up, innit?
Yeah. That's what.
I just want to go back on the 9-to-5 thing, school setting you to a 9-to-5. I think that is very true. Like, all that school tells you to do is finish school, you go college, apprenticeship, or sixth form, like whatever. But they never tell you to go and follow your heart, do what you want to do, follow your passion. Like, I've never been told that. I don't think any of you have either in school. They just tell you to do the 9-to-5 and live your life. But we could be a lot more, and they don't try to like express that to us.
I think I could follow like without an education, like looking at both sides of my family. My mum's side of the family, like the prim proper, and I got my dad's side of the family who's travellers, like, and then look at my mum's side of the family. They've all got official jobs, they're nurses, doctors. My dad's family, they've gone their own path, and I can honestly say them are more successful, got more money, and to what my mum's side does, they're doing official things. You get me? So how does the youth justice system help to reform the character of a person?
The one thing that really works is relationship. is other people. So whether that's a sport coach, whether that's a filmmaker, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a teacher at school, whether that's a youth justice officer, okay? So if you have a good person next to you, working with you, alongside you on your journey, then that is the main thing that will help you change.
I think that the biggest thing about working with a youth justice officer is the opportunities that become available to you then. So often when we start working with kids, they might not have been to school for a while, they might have completely slipped off everybody else's radar, but as soon as we get involved, we've got access to mental health services, substance misuse services, education, employment officers, lots of different positive activities, lots of things that we can get them in touch with. And I think those are the things that really make a difference in young people's lives, because they're often services they weren't aware of or weren't able to access before they came to us.
What has been the most influential thing in your life, and is it a good thing or is it a bad thing, and has it done you something good or has it brought you down to something bad?
I'm gonna have to ponder on that question there, man. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what, I'm going to talk about this Open Men's Media project. To be fair, I think that's influenced me quite a lot.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, it is a good thing. It's put a lot of motivation in me, made me make new windows in walls, and just think of stuff a different way, and just think that I can do it, even though I've never done acting before, I've never done a podcast in my life before, and I'm here doing it, and just big influence, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mimic what my man said again. This Open Lens Media open stuff up,
Thank you guys so much. I mean, I know y'all could hear it, we were actually kind of nervous in doing this because it's the first time doing it. And I thank you guys for actually helping me out through this, because I'm
always on the family, man.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Respect.
How did your experience of school shape you as a young boy?
My experience in school, well, funny enough, is that I've been to a lot of schools, and a lot of the scenarios, it's always been repeated, same sort of argument, same sort of situation. So it's helped me in life, because a lot of problems that's I face, it's just something I faced in school, so it's not exactly hard for me to get past it. But at the time when I was in school, it was a heavy toll, because I was a person that just didn't I didn't like talking to people. So most of the times it seemed like I was a delinquent or a bad child, but it was just that I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like talking to people, but it was also that I couldn't exactly find a way to communicate with people, and it was really hard. And most people always made fun of me, and I have a very short temper, and it always seemed like I was just constantly being violent, but it's just that people just kept trying to bully me and all the time. So I was a lot smarter than most people in my class, and it wasn't like knowledge or what yet, it's just the fact that when I was really young, my mom always made me start into bigger things. I would be reading big books and sit down. So when I came to do spelling checks or reading classes, I was a lot better, but I actually had to kind of stutter a bit. So it kind of seemed like I had a disability, but it wasn't really that. It was just I spoke really fast and I get stumbled on more words. And trying to communicate with people, trying to express what's inside my head, and trying to say it to someone, they won't understand what goes through my head, and when I'm trying to say it, I don't have the right words for it. So it's kind of difficult to try and get the two to work together, and then trying to get someone to understand your point of view.
So my name's Leanne Joseph. I founded a company called Dream Live Achieve Academy, which is a performing arts academy for young people, started from the ages of 3 and carrying on through as long as they want to be here with me, really. Nail actually came to me through the parent of one of my students. Recently, only just a few months ago, one of our students' parents noticed Nail dancing on his own training in the park, and she just went up to him. She said, I think he's a really talented young man, and she just went up to him and spoke to him and asked him what it is that he's doing with his dance, etc., and recommended him to come here and just have a look at what it is that we do. And the next week he did. I believe that young people within Sandwell, Walsall, Wolverhampton, Handsworth, Birmingham, Wednesbury, Tipton, all those areas, they're very deprived areas, and although there are things out there for them to do, they're not advertised well for young people that are struggling to reach out, that are struggling to speak out, that are struggling to express themselves. And although the council say the resources are available, we don't know that they're available. And I think that there should be more resources available for young people that are obtainable.
What young people need is goals and dreams, really. Youngsters these days, it's that they have energy, they have the energy, they have all this free time, but no one's actually providing them a place as well as the dreams in order for them to put this energy into. So by them having a dream and a goal, it focuses their mind on that instead of being out on the streets with knives, guns and so forth, getting into dumb arguments about who has what girl, who has how much money, about what clothes you wear, where you live. Like, it's a waste of time, all that, when you realize, because as you get older, all those things that you've been fighting for back then mean nothing now.
Turns out I'm the wickedest thing, sweet like Bertie with a licorice trimming. The man shook because I'm better than him, bars harder than him.
Right now we're in Walsall town, innit? We're at the Mackie. You see, after school, yeah, if you're from Walsall, you know about this McDonald's right here. Cause every day, this is where we'll come to. Cause we don't really have like much establishments, much things to do around Walsall. And then from coming from here, a lot of things happen. People got in trouble, people got arrested. But the thing was like, we wasn't in a place where we were supervised. It wasn't in a place where there was much things to do. And you know what happens when you're bored. And the thing is like, if you look in this town, there ain't really much things to do right now. If I go around this corner, if it wasn't McDonald's, we'll be around this corner. And I know if I go there right now, I'm gonna catch some youths doing something there, you get me? And the thing is, it's like, there's not much people. They say they're trying to help the youths and that, there ain't really nothing. There's nothing for us at all. So we had to make our own stuff. So, yeah, the Mackies.
So I just dropped it there. Nah, I never dropped it there. In Walsall town, all of the people are staring. Aye, listen, yo, aye. Big Schengen, Rambo, close man's mango, now I'm got feeling all worried.
Tell me what's HBN?
HBN is a collective of individuals who don't feel right within the system, who want to work and want to have things, but they don't want to acquire it through the system, so they hustle a bit differently. You know, it's like more of like, so it's more all about independence, making it out yourself, because what the things we want to do really is not things that most people would do, you know what I mean? It's like most people would want to have a record deal and all of that stuff, but we do all ourselves. We're about independence, always like making sure that we learn and educate ourselves to be able to do things, since, you know, due to lack of money. So Hustle by Nature was just about just hustling no matter what circumstances you are, just naturally being able to always progress. And it's also humble by nature, which means like also correlates with the other side of us, which is the more conscious side of us, you know, the side of us that likes to speak truth, speak facts, because, you know, this generation, if you look at music and with artists, if you hear a drill beat, you straight away think about, you know, chinging, drilling and all of that. We're trying to bring a side where you can hear a drill track and not straight away jump to my man's talking about violence.
What kind of escape did that give you both?
I think at the time I was on a case in it. I was in London. I just got caught for a case. I come down to Walsall. This time I was signed to another label in London called Soulfly. So it was one of my friend's cousin's labels. We signed to him, and then it wasn't productive. So it wasn't so productive. Like, there was nothing really going on. We made one tune here. That was it. There was no continuous behaviour. So coming back down to here now, coming down to Walsall, meeting up with Denzel, this was 2018, meeting up with Denzel now, and then just like going through some things, and then things that we like to do, rapping and everything, and we like to do it, so we spend more time on it, because if I'm putting in my energy and he's putting in his energy, that's both of them. It's just like, it just took over a lifestyle. But I think it took us away from crime, because we had something. So that's what we was looking for, something to focus on, something to feel like nothing can fill that gap if it's not that piece. Do you know what I mean? Like a jigsaw puzzle is only shaped to a certain piece to fill a certain piece. You can't fill another side. You get it? And we was doing everything in our life was leading up until now, because everything we was doing, it was trying to pull it to fill that gap, but it wasn't meant to be.
Come on.
Productions into me, take one. Rolling action.
I'm trying to put gangs there, trying to put violence there, trying to put crime there. Do you know what I mean? It was even on another record label, but it was like, it wasn't filling the gap. But then when we joined in HBN now, and it like overpowered the gap of doing wrong. We overpowered it, fitted, and it was like, okay, then cool. That's what took us away from that mindset.
It's like a sense of belonging, you know what I'm saying? Because if you know what you're standing for, you're not gonna fall for anything.
Go dummy, Carl.
Tell me what you're into, please. Tryna get you into me. Tryna live this fantasy so you can be next to me.
When it comes, you're not gonna be thrown away. So I was like, alright, cool. My name still comes to me about Denzel, let's do this, let's go do that, let's go do this. It might have a short time game that's big, but man's there. Now when you come to me and you say these things, I'm not contemplating, cool. But my heart, I know my heart wants HBN more than everything. If I do this, what's that going to do for HBN? You get it? So it's like, bang, if he ain't going to align with what I want and my passion, it's like, cool, I ain't going to do it. So that eliminates all of the other stuff, so the bad things and all of the gang violence, all of that type of activity there. It's just like, just knowing what you want out of life, innit? Because if you don't know, then what? When a man comes to you and says, yo, listen, you can make $1,000 in 15 minutes by doing, of course you're gonna do it. Who don't want $1,000 in 15 minutes, bro? Come on, anyone would do that. But if you have something that's worth more to you than any amount of money that nobody could put a price on, believe me, there's nothing that will knock you back, nothing.
Make you rise off the floor, meditation. Mommy's crying about the kids' devastation. Brody just give the drop information. Father sending above your head, elevation. I've been spitting from young dedication. Prescripted to this life medication. Real to the core, revelation. Prescripted to this life medication. I give it up a slideshow presentation. Big back,
The purpose of the organisation is to hold the police accountable. They are a very powerful agent. They have huge powers that we as a society have given them. And society would rightly expect those who wield that much power to be held accountable for the way they use that power. And my organisation is to fulfil that purpose, and I'm the person that sits as the person who heads the regional organisation, and that's my role.
See, the mainstream news corporations, when they cover stories around like a lot of, let's say, hood stories, it's like, it's very biased, it's very one-sided. It's like, these are thugs, gangsters, whatever, doing this type of stuff, and in reality, these are just people trying to find a way to, you know, who may have been misguided, or trying to, you know, find a way. And it's like, when they cover these stories, it's not portrayed as it should fully be. And, you know, like, what I want to ask is like, what should we do? What can we do to get ourselves heard by these like people? Cause
I think your voice is, there are many outlets now, particularly through social media. We've seen the rise of social media, YouTube's, podcasts, people, you know, using different ways of getting their messages out. And I think one of the problems we've seen is the established institutions are behind in trying to understand how people communicate nowadays. You know, you've got a Facebook or a YouTube blogger who will have millions of followers. You'll have a TV channel who won't have as many followers. So I think the mechanisms are there. I think it's important that the right message is communicated, and with responsible people like yourselves, the right message will get through.
As we're here with like the youth justice system, I just want to know, like, how does the IRPC work with the youth justice system?
I spend a lot of time on the road talking to young people, listening to what they're saying. And I've learned over the years that when I talk to young people, what they don't want, the last thing they want in particular, is for me to ask them what the problem is. I already know what the problem is. So we approach young people with a listening ear, without judging them, and most importantly, we try and bring answers to the questions they've already asked us. I think it's really difficult at times because the trust and confidence is not always that good, even in us as an organisation. It takes a lot of time to build trust and confidence. And the material difference that we have made to the lives of young people is that they now have access to us, direct access to us. Their voice is absolutely heard. And we now have young people informing our decisions. We have young people sitting on our recruitment panels, so they help recruit people like me to the organisations. We have policy panels where we're looking at policies that need to be produced to help in the way policing is done. And we have young people, we have a youth committee, we have a youth panel, and the voice of young people is now directly feeding into our work. And that's a significant step to having young people shape what we do, as well as shape the role of the police in our society today.
Hands real sweaty, got my fingers around the clutch, the Babylon, they ain't serious, trying to fling around the bus, took that gap real smooth, had to swing around the bus, slapped it in second.
Hello, it's Kacper, Pasiak here, and I'm here to talk about bike life and bikers. And yeah, this is my podcast. So first of all, the opinion of bikers is like the reckless people, the dangerous, the criminals, that do this, that do that. And obviously, it's not like that. I mean, I ride bikes myself. I've been through youth justice and whatnot, but I was on just trying to follow my passion, follow what I love, train better tricks every day. I mean, just that's my passion, and I think. Well, to be fair, what do you think about bikes?
And then I kind of shared my side about the same thing. So, you know, I'm on a residential street. We hear riders go past, it's very noisy, and I think, oh, this is really reckless. But I think what you were saying was really interesting, because I could see you doing that and think that you were a bit of a hooligan. But that's not the case, is it?
No, of course it's not. It's like a lifestyle. Like bikes are a lifestyle to a lot of people. It's all over the West Midlands, all everywhere. It's all over the world. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not trying to be a hooligan. I'm not trying to cause danger. I'm not trying to hurt people. I'm just trying to practice my tricks, do something new every day, live my life like how I want to live it. Obviously, you said that people ride on streets, smash your house and whatnot, but we've signed petitions that had many thousands, millions of signs, and for a place for us to ride where we can go on a Sunday, meet up with everyone and have some fun on some bikes, practice what we love, you know. And all the council has said is that there's either no land to give when there is, or that it's too loud. But we find places in quiet areas or next to motorways where it's hard to get to. No one ever goes there. And within a couple of weeks, maybe even hours, we've got police turning up, trying to take bikes off people, trying to put people in prison for riding a bike. It's a passion, I mean, it's an art in its own form. If you want to be an artist, you go to draw somewhere. If you want to be a dancer, like my mate over here, you go to a dance studio and you dance there. And if you want to ride a bike, you will be.
You know what it is as well, from a non-rider's point of view, for the youth it's exciting, when you see your gas, seeing them all drive past doing these one-wheel tricks and that, but we ain't the council, man, we ain't the police are grown people, the council are grown people, them are just looking down on that. Now say if the youth was the council, the youth was the police, you'd have that resources, so you'd have that place to do it.
So, go ahead.
One piece of advice I'll give to you, have you ever heard of butterfly effect or the domino effect?
Yes.
A small thing becomes a big thing. Even though it may be small, now it will have a big effect later on. And I think you should just keep on fighting, innit?
So that's time as well. It's time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Just make an impact. Hopefully, let people that don't ride, let older people know that we're not these ruthless people trying to cause trouble. We're just trying to live our life and live it to the fullest that we can. Hopefully people that don't ride bikes do understand my point of view now, and the rider's point of view of we're not trying to be reckless people. We're trying to do what we love. And yeah, bike life ain't gonna stop. And this was my podcast.
Slip.
Bless.
If you know your dream is going to get you where you're going to be, there is no point just failing. There is no point just failing. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of times it took us to do this, what we're doing today, we could have failed, man. We could have failed. You wouldn't be watching this today if we wasn't consistent. If every day, okay, some people never turned up, but we still push through, we still do what we can do. And for that reason, we can display this to you lot, so you can see this and actually see where we're coming from. And you don't have to be an adult to succeed. Do you know what I mean? It's about your mindset. And where's your mind? Age is just a number. You know what I mean? It's just giving something a label. Where's your mindset at? Where are you at? Where's your heart at? And are you truly happy where you are? 5 years time from now, are you still going to be happy where you are? So just set yourself up, man. Nice.
Tiv. T-Steps. Hands real sweaty, got my fingers round the clutch. The Babylon, they ain't serious, trying to fling around with us. Took that gap real smooth, had to swing around the bus. Slapped it in second and watched that wheel bubble up. Real from the cut, sock seal to my foot. Real know them black marks, they peeling it up. Enough speed in the stunts, it's straight grease in the slums.